Have you ever looked at your hands and felt there was something there that no one else could understand? Maybe you noticed lines, traces, or even symbols that seemed ordinary to the eyes of the world, but to you, they carried a different weight, something almost inexplicable. What if I told you that it wasn't just your imagination? That what you seer, what has appeared to you in dreams and visions, is actually a direct message from heaven? The letter M, the crescent moon. These are not coincidences etched into your skin or projected into your mind. They are spiritual marks. Signs not given to just anyone, but reserved for those born with a greater purpose. And if you are here now, hearing these words, it's because the universe is calling you to awaken. Perhaps throughout your life, you've felt different, out of place, misunderstood. Maybe you've wondered why certain relationships don't last, why you possess an unusual sensitivity, or why you carry an invisible weight that no one else seems to notice. The truth is, you never belonged to the crowds because your soul was set apart for something beyond human understanding. These marks, the M and the crescent moon, are silent proof that you were chosen not to live like everyone else, but to walk under a divine guidance that few can perceive. And I know that many times this calling has felt like loneliness, rejection, or deep doubts about your place in the world. But today, that uncertainty comes to an end. Today, you will understand why you bear these marks and, more importantly, why you cannot be surrounded by just anyone. There is a spiritual reason why doors have closed, people have walked away, and you've been led into silence. It's not rejection, it's protection. And throughout this video, you will discover the truth that the spiritual realm has tried to keep hidden from you until now. But before we continue, it's necessary to seal this revelation in your life. If these words are already resonating within you, do 3 simple yet powerful things. Like this video as an act of spiritual activation. Subscribe to the channel to walk alongside other chosen ones who, like you, are awakening to their true identity. And comment 99 below, because this number carries the symbolism of spiritual rebirth and the confirmation of divine purpose over your life. Take a deep breath, because what you are about to hear may forever change the way you see your hands, your mission, and your destiny. How many times have you tried to convince yourself that what you see in your hands is just a coincidence? Perhaps you thought these marks, the letter M and the crescent moon, were mere natural lines on your skin, something meaningless, a product of chance. But deep within, there was always a silent voice whispering that it wasn't so simple. And that voice was right. What you carry are not simple symbols. They are divine callings, spiritual seals left by God to remind you who you are and, most importantly, what you came to do in this world. While many look at their hands and see only tools for daily tasks, the chosen ones know, even if unconsciously, that their hands have been anointed for a much greater purpose. The letter M is not there for aesthetics, much less by accident. It is a celestial code, a signature carrying profound meanings. Mission, miracles, mercy, message, Mary, Messiah. Each of these words reveals fragments of the spiritual truth dwelling within you. When this mark appears, it doesn't merely reveal an identity, it activates a calling. It's as if heaven says, I know you. I have set you apart. I have sent you. And the crescent moon, so subtle and silent, carries the power of cycles, rebirths, and light emerging amidst darkness. It doesn't appear to those living in superficiality, but to souls that are sensitive, connected to the unseen, prepared to perceive what others ignore. These signs don't appear on just anyone, because not everyone can carry the responsibility they represent. They are the physical reminder that you belong to a rare spiritual lineage, a group of souls chosen before birth to fulfill a sacred mission on earth. That's why, while many ignore the invisible, you feel it. While others walk aimlessly, you are constantly pulled by a force calling you to something greater, and it is precisely because you bear these marks that your life has never been ordinary. God doesn't waste signs. He marks those he intends to use in extraordinary ways. Now, the only question that remains is, are you ready to recognize that these marks aren't mere details? They are heaven's seal upon you. From an early age, you must have felt like you didn't fit in. Among friends, in social circles, even within your own family, there was always that uncomfortable sense of being different, as if your presence was out of place amid the noise of the world. Maybe you tried to force yourself to belong, searched for logical explanations for people's distance, or for the loneliness that insisted on following you. But the truth is, what you interpreted as rejection was, in reality, a divine strategy. The true chosen ones, especially those marked with the letter M and the crescent moon, were never meant for the crowds. They carry a spiritual frequency so elevated that it naturally provokes discomfort in environments and people not aligned with the light. The spiritual realm recognizes the mark before you fully understand it. That's why certain people simply drift away, friendships grow cold, relationships break without apparent reason. It's not that something is wrong with you, on the contrary. It's precisely because something is right. When the light you carry begins to manifest, it exposes the surrounding shadows. And those unprepared for such revelation prefer to distance themselves. It's an invisible mechanism of spiritual protection, both for you and for them. God separates, distances, and isolates not as punishment, but as preservation of purpose. You cannot be contaminated by just any energy, nor can you share your essence with everyone, because what dwells within you is sacred. This mystery of spiritual separation is painful when misunderstood, but liberating when finally revealed. The chosen ones were not designed to lose themselves among the masses, but to walk silent paths where few have access. It is within this divinely orchestrated isolation that you are refined, strengthened, and prepared for what's to come. While many seek approval, you are being called to seek direction. While others feed on external recognition, you learn to live by the inner voice that comes from heaven. So, if you've felt this inexplicable distance from people, if loneliness has knocked on your door more often than you'd like, know this: you are not being rejected by the world. You are being set apart by God, because those who carry a celestial mission cannot walk surrounded by just anyone. They need silence to hear instructions, space to grow spiritually, and protection from anything that would try to divert their focus from their purpose. When you look at your hands, you might still see only what human eyes can perceive: lines, marks, seemingly ordinary traces. But in the spiritual realm, those same hands shine with a light that few can see. Heaven does not mark by chance, and if you carry the letter M and the crescent moon, you must understand that there is a hidden power placed precisely within them. This power is not symbolic, it is real, and it carries a triad that defines the life of every true chosen one: identity, responsibility, and mission. The marks on your hands are a constant reminder of who you are in the spiritual realm. While the world tries to label you by external standards, God has already engraved on your skin the identity that truly matters, that of someone set apart, anointed, and sent. Every time you notice these marks, heaven is calling you to remember that you are not a product of chance, but of a divinely orchestrated plan. However, along with this identity comes something many ignore: responsibility. Being marked is not merely a sign of spiritual privilege, it is a summons. Your hands were not sealed for you to simply contemplate the mystery, but for you to act as a channel of the unseen. It is through these hands that miracles can happen, that words carry heavenly weight, that simple actions bear divine authority. Every gesture you make has an impact beyond the physical, because your hands have been consecrated to touch what is eternal. And for that reason, you can no longer live an ordinary life. There is a mission embedded in these marks, and it demands that you take a stand, recognize the calling, and be willing to let heaven flow through every action, decision, and word. To ignore this power is to waste the purpose for which you were set apart, but to accept it is to open the door to a life where the natural and the supernatural walk hand in hand. Your hands are more than physical instruments, they are extensions of the divine will on earth. And when you understand this, you realize that nothing you touch is insignificant, because every movement you make can carry healing, deliverance, guidance, and transformation. Now that you know what is hidden within your own hands, heaven asks you a simple yet profound question. What will you do with the power you carry? The letter M engraved on your hands is not just an initial formed by chance or a simple design shaped by the lines of your skin. In the spiritual realm, every detail has purpose, and every symbol carries a hidden message that only the chosen can decipher with their hearts. The letter M is one of those messages, a living mark that resonates between heaven and earth, reminding you daily that you were set apart for something far greater than an ordinary life. And to truly understand the depth of this mark, you must go beyond the surface and dive into what it represents: mercy, miracles, and mission. Mercy is the first and most evident reflection of the letter M in your life. If you were marked, it's because you carry within you a compassion that cannot be taught, a sensitivity that makes you feel others' pain as if it were your own. It's no coincidence that tears well up in your eyes when you witness injustice, or that your heart becomes restless in the face of suffering. This mark has transformed you into a channel of divine mercy, someone who not only feels but is called to act on behalf of those heaven wishes to reach. The mercy you carry is not weakness, it is spiritual strength, the ability to be an answer in a broken world. But the letter M also bears the weight of miracles. Perhaps you've already noticed that your presence changes environments, that your words bring calm, that when you pray, something shifts. This is no coincidence, it is part of the anointing resting upon you. Those marked with the M were chosen to be instruments of divine intervention, not because they are perfect, but because they have been empowered by heaven to manifest the impossible. Miracles don't just happen around you, they flow through you. And often, without even realizing it, you have been the point of contact between the natural and the supernatural. Finally, there is the mission. The letter M is a constant reminder that you are not here by chance, nor to live a common existence. There is a specific calling upon your life, a mission that only you can fulfill. At times, it may seem too great, too heavy, too challenging. But remember, God does not mark those He does not intend to use. If you carry the M, it is because you were designed to walk spiritual paths few would dare to follow. Your mission is to be light where there is darkness, a voice where there is silence, and a bridge where there are chasms. The letter M on your hands is not an ornament, it is a divine summons that echoes every day, reminding you that you were called to carry mercy, manifest miracles, and fulfill a sacred mission that heaven entrusted exclusively to you. While the letter M carries the weight of mission, the crescent moon reveals another equally sacred dimension of your journey, that of spiritual rebirth, prophetic intuition, and deep connection with heaven. If you have noticed this symbol engraved on your hands, or if it appears repeatedly in dreams and visions, know that it is not a decorative figure or a meaningless detail. The crescent moon is a silent signature of the divine, a reminder that you have been set apart to see beyond the veil of ordinary reality. It represents the light beginning to break through the darkness, the sign that something within you is expanding, a growth that, although it has not yet reached its fullness, already announces that the glory of God is manifesting in your life. To carry the crescent moon is to live in a constant process of transformation. It is to have endured internal deaths, moments when everything seemed lost, only to discover that heaven had already decreed your rebirth. The crescent moon marks those who have been broken, humiliated, and yet lifted by divine grace. It symbolizes that you are no longer who you once were. You have been shaped by the fire of trials, but sustained by the invisible hand of God, and now you walk as someone blooming at the right time, even if the world has yet to see the full light you carry. Moreover, this mark brings with it a supernatural intuition. Those who bear the crescent moon possess a heightened spiritual sensitivity, the ability to perceive what is hidden, to feel what has not yet been spoken, to discern environments and people with a precision that defies human logic. Perhaps you felt that tightness in your chest for no apparent reason, an unease that led you to change direction, or that inexplicable peace confirming a choice. This is not imagination. It is the spirit, speaking through the connection the crescent moon activates within you. It is a silent prophetic gift that transforms you into a spiritual guardian, someone who protects, intercedes, and acts even when no one else perceives what is happening behind the scenes of the invisible. But this connection also carries weight. To see more is to carry more. To feel beyond the ordinary is a privilege, but also a responsibility. And that is why the crescent moon is not given to everyone. Only those whom heaven deems ready to handle such spiritual depth receive this mark, not to boast, but to serve. Not to seek recognition, but to be a bridge between heaven and earth, guided by wisdom that comes not from men, but directly from the divine throne. To bear the crescent moon is to live knowing that you perceive what many ignore, and because of that, your mission demands silence, discernment, and constant obedience to what the Spirit reveals only to the chosen. Perhaps you've wondered why you feel everything so intensely, why tears so easily fill your eyes when witnessing someone else's pain, why you sense situations before they happen or perceive a person's true intentions even when they haven't spoken a word. This sensitivity, which has often made you feel fragile or different, is actually one of the most powerful gifts a chosen one can carry. It's not excessive emotion, nor a vivid imagination. It is a supernatural sensitivity, a spiritual radar activated within you by heaven itself. Those who bear the letter M and the crescent moon on their hands do not live only in the visible world, they walk between dimensions. They feel what others ignore, see what many refuse to see, and are constantly guided by a perception that surpasses logic. This sensitivity is a divine tool, given to protect, to discern, and to act according to the Spirit's direction. But with it also comes the weight of carrying revelations that cannot be shared with just anyone. You see what is hidden in people. You sense heavy atmospheres. You detect invisible dangers. And often, you're called to intercede in silence like a guardian watching over, even when no one understands the reason behind your restlessness. This gift, though precious, can be lonely. After all, how do you explain to the world that you feel what cannot be seen? How do you justify decisions made simply because you felt it was the right thing to do? That's why many chosen ones are misunderstood, labeled as overly dramatic, emotional, or even too mystical. But what others don't know is that this sensitivity is exactly what connects you directly to God's heart. It allows you to hear heavenly whispers amidst chaos, to sense spiritual traps before they manifest, and to act with wisdom where others would act on impulse. Do not let the world harden this gift within you. Don't try to silence what the Spirit awakens. This sensitivity is a rare blessing, and through it, you will be guided in the most decisive moments of your mission. Remember, to feel deeply is not weakness, it is refined spiritual strength. And those who carry this gift were chosen to walk with eyes that see beyond and with a heart aligned to the rhythm of heaven. Few understand the weight of loneliness that accompanies those marked by heaven. For many, being alone is seen as a sign of social failure, rejection, or inadequacy. But for true chosen ones, especially those who carry the letter M and the crescent moon on their hands, loneliness is not punishment. It is a sacred refuge. Yet that doesn't make the process any less painful. Feeling misunderstood, watching people drift away without reason, realizing you don't fit into groups or casual conversations, all of that hurts. The soul longs to belong, but the spirit knows that isolation is an essential part of preparation. God, in His infinite wisdom, knows that not everyone can walk beside someone carrying a higher purpose. There are environments that cannot withstand the light you carry. There are people who, even with good intentions, could contaminate the purity of the mission entrusted to you. That's why heaven intervenes silently, distancing you, cutting ties, closing doors that you might have insisted on keeping open. And while you ask yourself, why am I always alone? God answers, because what I placed in your hands cannot be touched by just anyone. It is in solitude that the Spirit speaks the loudest. It is in the silence of absence that the greatest revelations are delivered. The great men and women of God throughout history went through this same process. They were hidden before being revealed, rejected before being honored, silenced before being heard. The loneliness of the chosen is not emptiness, it is a spiritual training ground where character is shaped, faith is refined, and divine sensitivity is expanded. If you've felt this pain, if silent nights have been your most constant companions, know that nothing is wrong with you. On the contrary, everything is exactly as it should be. The separation you experience is the shield God placed around your purpose. He is guarding you from wrong alliances, toxic influences, and distractions that could divert you from your mission. The pain of solitude is real, but it carries a promise within it. Those set apart in secret will be exalted at the appointed time. And when that time comes, you will understand that every moment of silence was, in truth, God's hand lovingly guiding you toward the destiny He reserved exclusively for you. Chosen one, if you've made it this far, know that this is no coincidence. There is a reason why these words have touched your spirit so deeply. Throughout your life, you may have carried doubts, questions, and even silent pain for not understanding why you were so different, why you felt so much, why you lived distant from people and places that never seemed to truly embrace you. But today, the truth has been revealed. You were marked by heaven, set apart with purpose, sealed with the letter M and the crescent moon not to be lost among the crowds, but to be a light in times of darkness. Now that you know the weight and glory these marks carry, the choice is in your hands. It's no longer about asking, why me? But about declaring in faith, I am ready for what God has prepared for me. Yes, the path of the chosen is not easy. It demands silence. It demands sacrifice. It demands courage to walk forward when no one understands where you're going. But this path is also filled with spiritual rewards that the world could never offer. You were called to lead, to intercede, to transform every environment with your presence, and to fulfill a mission that only you can accomplish. So, no longer mourn the solitude. Stop questioning the separations. Do not doubt what the Spirit has already confirmed within you. Heaven has been preparing you in silence because the time of manifestation is closer than you think. Soon, everything that was hidden will be revealed with power and purpose. And when that day comes, you will understand that every tear, every separation, and every mark on your hands were part of God's plan to elevate you to the place that has always been yours. If this message has awakened something within you, write 99. In the comments, this is the seal of spiritual rebirth, the confirmation that you accept your identity and are ready to walk as a true, chosen one. Subscribe to the channel and join this community of marked souls who, just like you, are awakening to the greatness of their divine purpose. Remember, you were not created to hide, you were created to shine. The world needs your light. and heaven has already revealed you. Now, it's your turn to embrace who you truly are.